This is the state of the nation. Irifa Uganda. We are deliberate, we are reasonable, we are uncensored. The state of the nation with Henry Salu. All right. Afande Momo is here. Are you ready, Afande? Are you ready, Afande? Are you ready? Afande, are you ready? Are you ready, Afande? Do you hear me? Afande, 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 do you hear me? She doesn't hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the Bluetooth on my phone.
Where are you traveling to, first of all? You're supposed to be leading in Boston.
I'm just returning to Boston, actually.
Oh, welcome back. Did you go out for duties?
Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome back.
I've been out the whole week.
Oh, I've been out the whole week.
How are you? I would have. Nange kenyini bade mayinti nja kuba maze by 5. The plane here delaying. My journey was supposed to be before.
Okay, that's fine. Nice to have you back. A few questions arose from the last 2 episodes that we had. One of them being that abantu bakyayagala obbaziika e Boston. Yagala kuteekawo cemetery. Abantu babagambye ogenda bakolera Ugandan cemetery e Massachusetts, Boston, Massachusetts. Wankubidde nga bambuza asajja mmwe temwagala tuzaayo. But first, introduce yourself and then let people know what's going on.
Yeah, my name is Afande Momo Morina Simwe Kalemba, and I'm the President Uganda Boston Community Society or Association here in Massachusetts. And yeah, that's about it. And I just do not want to bury people, what would I say, in a foreign land, but it so happens that we have more than 40, 80, in fact 40 from 50 onwards years, which people have spent in Massachusetts. Therefore, we are bringing in a new breed of people. Those are our young ones, and these young ones don't know nothing except to be raised and born here. So we are looking at a generation. Did you lose me?
No, I'm here.
Okay, we're looking at a generation which is young, which is the upcoming generation. I call it my son's generation. So that generation knows nothing than to be in United States, about Uganda. Even though they know, they just go visit. It's like a tourism area for them. They don't look at it as home. So we have to think about their stay here. Even though we've brought them in the United States, even though we've raised them in the United States, even though we've given birth for them in the United States, we need to preserve our culture with them. And the only way we're going to do the preservation of culture and being together and solidify our heritage is by having one place that they bury us. When me, I'm a veteran, you know, so if I'm to go, they're going to give me a veteran spot, you know, but I wouldn't even want to be buried in my veterans if the Ugandans have a place. Okay, I would love to go with the Ugandan area so that I know that my children don't have to go through a lot of tombs looking for me. They would know where my mama is and go and pay their respects. So that is what we are looking at. It's not that we want to bury Those who want to go home will go home, and those who want to stay will stay. But that is how it is.
The funny thing is that you are the one who said it, but they were calling me.
Mm. Cemetery. Naye si kibi okulaba akasola nga abantu manyi bawulira mu bibi byokka oba ekintu ekiri negative kubanga twayogera ebintu bingi. There's a lot of programs, naye era olaba nti no bajjidde muki mu byakufiirwa byokka. It means that program bagiwuliriza. Katugenderaawo.
Koze njamuza mumubuuze nze nange bagamba agenda baggulirawo ne bagamba that's a good thing because now you don't have to worry about investing a lot of insurance money to go back home. You can just have life insurance just enough to put in and to give you a decent burial here. And your family doesn't have to have a lot of tensions and all those worries that come along with losing a loved one in America, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a good idea that should be embraced as well. But at the same time, I think we need to do a lot of sensitization so that people understand. So what you just offered here, the preamble you just offered here regarding the second generation Ugandans and the third generation Ugandans, those people do not really connect with Uganda per se. They know my parents came from Uganda, but really I'm either American or I'm Canadian, right? They will be taken back after when they are done. They don't buy it. So I think the idea of having
they don't.
The idea of
and even it's very expensive.
Yes,
Mr. Sally. Now imagine if God forbid or anything that can happen in the world that you lose your son or daughter right now,
right?
And then the expenses, the burial expenses to take back your son or daughter. Most of us have life insurance, but it may even not be encompassing your children. So still the expense here is coming to be big. So that's why when we are in UNA, we left that life insurance which we are proposing. We made sure that life insurance that we propose catered to some family members, because most people's children would also have issues when it comes to burial. So these are not things that are small, they are big things, and we need to be looking at them widely.
Right. Well, that was a side question, but the main question is you wanted to tell us what's going on in Boston, Massachusetts, and the events that are going to happen throughout the year. I think tuwulirako notubuulira muschedulinga mute events zammwe nemutabeera na conflicts. How do you guys manage conflicts, scheduling conflicts? Because we seem to have a lot of those challenges in our communities, but you guys seem to be flawless in how you're organizing events. I don't know if you have those.
No, I think we make it seem like it's flawless, but there is always competition and some rubbing of shoulders and somebody just comes and says, hey, because I hate to say this, but some people look at UBCA as an individual. They look at the community as Maureen. And I always tell people you should distinguish the two, because community is community. It will never be Maureen. Maureen is just a servant in there, leading the community, but we'll reach a time and leave, and then another person comes in, and then another person comes in. So don't ever look at community as an individual. Look at it as you, me, or anybody else collectively, and organs and everything. So that is the first conflict or first challenge we always meet, because somebody can come and say, oh, you have 5 events. I don't have the events. It's the community with the events, So then they look at us, and then I tell them, first of all, yes, the people who are before us had one event, which was the rest were training events, which they did at a low pace. But I found most of the events in there. It's just that me, I made sure that I broadcast them more. But like the women's event is our first event, I would say. But
Right.
when we begin the year, we don't begin with the women's event. As UBCA, we begin the year. You will excuse my cold because I have a cold. Even last Sunday, I told you so. If you hear my voice husky or rusty a little at the edges, it's because of the cold that I'm going through, the bronchitis. So you excuse me. But I'm going back to the calendar. So we schedule a calendar. Our calendar in UBCA runs from January all the way to December. That is our calendar. Then we schedule one whereby we are going to look at every month, like the way the US government looks at stuff. The US government, the way it looks at its calendar is how UBCA looks at its calendar period, because we are an organization within the US um, nation. So we are going and binding by the US laws. So in January, it's given to us, it's Martin Luther Day. So generally we do the Martin Luther, and we make sure that we observe what Martin Luther sayings are, where we have one monument downtown Boston. We go there. We have our friends in Waltham, the Africano Center, who basically bring in the what the yeah, who basically bring in the winter drive in January. So we don't do anything in January except have our mandatory leadership meetings. Our mandatory leadership meetings. So with our mandatory leadership meetings, which happen at end of January and end of February, in these two leadership meetings, I must say, we bring in all the leadership of all organizations. We make sure that we have emails or we have numbers. I try to call up leaderships in a Zoom meeting or in person if they can. And we talk about our community. We're going to see it in 2024 or 2025, what we need to improve on, where we did wrong, what we are lacking in our organization, how we put it out there, things like that. So when we finish to do that, then we go into February. February is our education month, and that is where our second meeting of leadership happens if the first one in January was not conclusive. When we do our February month for education, we call upon everybody, charter schools, name it, college schools, college funding. We talk about universities, we talk about elementary public school, all the way. We're looking at schools. So we go into March. March is our International Women's Day celebration. It is our biggest occasion. Remember when I started up, I was talking about March. So March is our biggest occasion, but we like as much as possible to make sure that everybody is tracking that was the first event that UBCA ever had. So all the years that UBCA was in existence, it had the March event, the Women's Day, which is started in 2017. So it kicked off so well. We brought in all organizations, and that is how UBCA started its functions. Event world, not the functions of existing, but the events and trainings. So in March, after the Women's Day, we recognize the women who have excelled. We give in the trainings. This year, we gave a training in mental health. It was all mental health oriented, and how parents are helping in chauffeuring the children, the youth mental health. We even had a study for mental health from January to March. So generally, we made sure that we are mental health ready, as now our health, at least we have now some resilience via attacking certain issues in our community. So now we go into April, and April is always the time frame where we have the annual general meeting, the first quarter annual general meeting. That's how we call it. In this first quarter, which we are going to have on Tuesday, this Tuesday, we're going to have it. And in this quarter, we're going to make sure that we are tackling those areas which we feel we are wanting in 2013, the ones we voted on in January with the leaders, and the ones we hope to move the community forward as we proceed in the next 4 months. Because we have another one in August and another one in December, and then start the year again. So we come to May, and in May it's a healthcare month. It's healthcare, and we are always trying to bring in everybody for insurance, life insurance, healthcare insurance, life insurance. We beat the instructor, all those instructors for healthcare, those nurses, the skilled people in regular residential counseling, anybody who has hands-on in healthcare. It's healthcare month. However, this time round, we couldn't get the days because, like you said, how do I manage conflict? We had our days for the healthcare May 18th and 19th, but then there was another person who brought in a play immediately before our flyer was out. So now we were like, the calendar was out. It shows that those days are already booked. There were hours, but hey, he decided to put out his flyers. Guess what? He's a fellow leader like me, you know. So I approached. This is how I deal with my challenges and conflict. I approached and made a phone call and say, hey, this is not right, you know. You shouldn't be doing something like that when we've already put it out in community. That we should not be having contradicting events or conflicting events.
Yeah.
So he apologized and said next time he's not going to be doing that. And he said he can't move his event because he has a lot of artists who are coming in. So I, as a community, I had to take the ball in my own hands and said, where should I move this event? I can move it either to the right or to the left. And then I had to move it to Mother's Day. So you see that now I have Mother's Day banquet, because that is the only time I had, because in the next weekend after Mother's Day, we have the Archbishop is coming, Kazimba Mugalu, and then also we have the Kabaka Foundation, and we have, in that week, we have the play. So you see how many events are in that week. That is 18th, 19th. So it's a lot, and it's heavily crowded. So for us as a community, we moved to this other week, where initially was Spice Diana, you know, and we are able to take up that week. Then we went into the idea of, if we have the Mother's Day banquet, we are recognizing mothers, but which mothers? Why mothers? You know, so this Mother's Day event, which is on May 12th, we decided to recognize generational mothers.
What do you mean by generational mothers? What exactly does that mean?
Yes, that's. Oh, excuse me. I hope I'm not gonna cough into the whole thing. So generational mothers are mothers who have been here for a while in the United States. As in, let me say, I'm gonna give my mother as an example.
Right.
My mother may, just in case if her mother was still living, if her mother came to the United States and then brought my mother to the United States, and then my mother brought me to the United States, and then I brought my children to the United States, and then my children brought my children. You get it? That kind of generation is what we're looking for. So those are the generational mothers, because we have a lot. of them in here in
Right.
Massachusetts. So my mother brought me and I gave birth to my babies, you know. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
bring anybody, but I gave birth to my babies in here. So
Yeah.
I know that that is that now I have the second generation with me. But we may find we
Mm.
have a third, somebody who has a third or fourth generation and has even the grandchildren, you know. If the children had given birth, then they go into the other third generation. So we are
Wouldn't that
looking at the,
wouldn't that
mm-hmm,
make you second generation if you have a mother
would,
here already who was the
uh-huh,
immigrant?
mm-hmm,
She brought you.
which is the
How
second.
come you're the first generation? Are you the first generation?
I am the first generation. She brought me.
So there's the immigrant generation, the first generation, the second generation, and third generation. Okay. All right.
Yes. So we are
Okay.
looking at somebody, we want to recognize one with four generations. We're looking for that person. And
Right.
we are yet to know if there is any, but we at least we've had the three generations. We're seeing those ones. So
Right.
there are many for three generations. We are encouraging mothers who are having challenges. The children, the second generations, when they come to the United States, some of them decide to, even the first generation, not to talk to their parents again. So they give their parents a mental challenge. The mothers now also resort to alcohol, or they resort to loneliness in the house, or even they're depressed. They're out there when you find the mothers and you say, oh, banange mama momo yabachi, you know. I thought this woman was nice, and now you look at how she is. These people are not taking care of their mothers. So we want to
Right.
start the culture of taking care of our mothers, to pamper our mothers every Mother's Day, you know, at least to show them that there is love in the community. We are adoring them. We know that they are important part of us, and also the mothers to bring the children to community, because like I told you, it's generational. So we want to see our community moving from our hands to the next hands, to the next hands, to the next hands, you know. So
What
that is what we're
happens?
looking at. Mm.
What happens when May 12th you have mothers who have to work? How are you going to manage uh,
Yeah,
those?
some are going to work, definitely. Some are going to
Mm.
work. We're not going to say that every mother is going to be there, no.
Yeah.
But those who can attend and can afford to attend, we really, really encourage them to come. But like there's a guest speaker, she has three of her children. She wanted her children, they're all doctors. In fact, they're all in the healthcare world. Uh, One is a doctor, another one is a nurse practitioner, and also another one is a nurse practitioner. There are three of them. And she really wanted those children to be around. But guess what? The children have to fly out that time, you know? So she cannot be able to. This lady, Vivian, who is one of our guest speakers who you put up here, she she is studying and has been working with John Hopkinson University, the
Right.
Hopkinson University,
Yeah.
and now she's in Harvard Medical School. That's where
Oh
she's
wow.
doing her PhD. So
Amazing.
I want her to come, and she's a mother. At the same
Right.
time, she stood for state representative. So she is an idol our young generation would
Right.
emulate, because despite the fact that she never made it through, that's not the end. She may make it through any other time, but she's showing us persistence. And if you lose in an election, it doesn't mean that you should stop interacting with community. It means you should even interact more with community, because you know more and much better. And she's in the medical world doing her PhD in the medicine, you know. So we need to recognize that, and she is graduating in May. So
That's amazing.
we
That's
are going
amazing.
yeah, we are going to have her as a community graduate, at the same time as a mother of two generations, because for her she does not have her own mother here. But we hope to see more of such mothers come up, and that is why they have been giving us those various pictures you've been seeing. Many families are coming out, sending in their pictures so that we can recognize them. So that is my first quarter. Let me take some water as I come back to discuss the next part of the year.
I know. It's past 6 o'clock, so I think we are gonna have to wrap up this conversation. Actually,
Oh, then I
uh,
can help you out and finish out with Men's Day. So that
yeah.
if
So
you,
just finished with
uh,
the men's day, so that we can always come back and let people know what's going on because they are probably
okay,
going to forget them all anyway.
yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, so after May, we have immigration in between, which is a conferencing and training, which we do around. We shall still do it on May 18th. Remember, our calendar was on May 18th, so we'll have some immigration conference during the day, which will happen at UBCA offices, in the conference room which we have out there. And then on June 16th, it's the Father's Day. But in our area, they called it Mother's Day. They called it Mother's Day because they called it Mother's Day because that is where we were. They called it Men's Day because we are looking at those fathers at the same time the man who is in our community. This man, why we are so much into the man, we don't want to look at only those who gave birth, biological fathers, or the single dads, or those ones that are only the who can be productive. But we want to look at those men, as in men as a whole, and including everybody. So we called it Men's Day instead of Father's Day, and that is on June 16th. Every June, on Father's Day, we celebrate UBCA Men's Day.
so this is deliberate because you want to include men who have no children yet, but who have
Yes,
made significant contributions to the community. That's amazing.
to the
Uh,
community. Yeah,
and that's happening on June 18th,
June 16th.
June 16th. Awesome.
Yes.
We shall definitely revisit this conversation, share what is going on. Hopefully, the next weekend we can get someone from a different community. But in the meantime,
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming and sharing what you have shared
Mm.
before. I hope the folks who were asking me about the symmetry questions are
You
feeling
said you
much
had
better.
two questions, but you gave me only one.
Well, the other question was about the idea of celebrating mothers and men. Where you got that idea? Uh,
Okay.
I also had the. Oh, I asked you two questions actually. The other one was how you manage conflicts, scheduling conflicts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
how you
one,
manage
we
scheduling
just talk.
conflicts.
We just have to dialogue and put the calendar out as much as possible. Talk to people like in these occasions or these conferences or trainings or broadcasts, and tell people, hey, we want you to come to community and register your organization or register your event. And that way, when people are coming up with conflicting with your event, we have to back you up as a community because we know that we have had you first come first serve. The days are many, the months are many, so we believe that we can all have a common a common rapport, and also a common way of dialoguing and minimize conflict and contradictions. And like I've given you one of the occasions that was contradicting, but we are able to overcome that, and it doesn't mean that that means that we hate each other or something is bad. No, we just try to make sure that we can dialogue through our challenges, and next time we do better. So we were able to do that. And in October we have our independence, and in December we have our holiday gala. So that those are our events. There's nothing spectacular, but we always make sure that when they come up, we advertise and call upon our community people to always come and support community, because in through these events we have nothing else we gain from it except office rent or office
Right.
supplies. And
Mhm.
also, if we can, there are people who come with office problems, like if we have the homeless people saying I've come to office so that I can have something to eat. I'm gonna use the membership money to give him to go eat, or the money that we got from the event. There's another person may come. I was evicted. I need storage facility. I don't have. I want some, at least a month out. We would give him, like, those kind of small things that we can give to people. Somebody may not have fuel. Another one may be having a car stack, and we are able to, send out somebody and pay the Uber or something. Those are the things that we do. So supporting community, the event itself may not give us a lot of money, but the 1,000, the 500 that we add on, which we never had before, is something that we appreciate. So that's how our events are. The good thing I want to say, I want to thank the sponsors and also the service providers, because some of them give us some events for free or at a half price, or even at a donated, price. And also we thank those volunteers who are within us, who come and help me out as much as possible whenever these events happen. So I can't forget those volunteers, the ladies, the Otebas, the Jalia, Esther, Dennis, and whosoever is out there that I haven't mentioned. But I thank everybody for helping out. Shifa, Isma, those are the people who have made UBC what it is today.
Wow. It's good that you remember all the names. Always important.
I do, because I do remember my volunteers, because my volunteers are very few. And now this year I've got a new volunteers. I have a pair of 3 sisters, and who are helping me with IT bookkeeping, Stacy, Samantha, and Rowena. And then I have also another lady who is always in the office. She's called Irene. She's just an S4 who came, and she's starting her nursing career. So she's doing her time for the school with us in community, and she's helping us get our membership roster together. And I hope by next week, I'm praying that by Tuesday we would have our membership all out and everybody up to date. So thank you so much for having us and having this wonderful broadcast today.
Again, thank you so much for coming as well. Always fixing time within your busy schedules. Try to communicate to the community using all avenues that are available to you, from WhatsApp to YouTube to Facebook to Twitter. This conversation is broadcast everywhere. They can see you everywhere. So people can't tell you that we didn't see you because we were on Twitter or X, whatever they call it right now.
It's X accounts.
Yeah, so they are on. It's on X. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. It's everywhere.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much again. Always a pleasure to have you. We shall see what we have scheduled next week. If you have any pertinent events that are happening, share those flyers in time so that I can work on that presentation earlier than I did today.
All right, thank you. I'll do that. And thank you for being who you are, and thank you for promoting communities.
You are most welcome. Again, thank you so much, and see you soon.
All right, bye.
All right, that was Afande Momo trying to tell us what's going on in Boston, Massachusetts, and everything that you need to know, you as a resident of Boston, Massachusetts, Boston of Waltham, Massachusetts as a state. You know when and what is convenient to you. Look out for it. Look out for her. If you have an event that you want to be included in the annual calendar, this is your opportunity to reach out to her and ensure that you are able to be included, so as to minimize the conflicts that may arise in scheduling. Again, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Henry Sally, and I am very excited to have you folks join us every day. So that's the Mother's Day banquet that is happening. This Friday, we have the GAN African Scholars Awards. It's happening at the University of Toronto within Massey College. Reach out to Catherine Bate if you would like to be invited to this event. Luganda Festival Toronto is happening on June 27th to July 1st. You can reach out to me or to Catherine Bate again to find out how to register and how you can get involved or volunteer for the organizing team. The Luo Convention is happening on May 23rd to 25th. Please reach out to the organizers, try to know how you can get involved or how you can register, especially if you live in Europe or the US. As I said, the gown is happening soon. This Friday, reach out to Catherine Bate or you can shoot me a message to find out what's going on. Again, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Henry Sally, and this is The State